Yo, what's up, it's Dominic and welcome back to Tip Tuesday, where every Tuesday and Thursday I help you guys become an Apex Legend. Today I've got my top 5 tips for Arena. Arena has been an amazing addition to Apex Legend and is truly my favourite mode. It's all I've been playing since launch, and I've got the top 5 tips that I've gathered from over my time playing. These tips will allow you to get a nice high win streak. This video is for the people who are struggling but may be useful for you guys who already have a decently high win streak. Make sure to watch the end to see today's comment shout out, and yeah, without any more talking, let's begin. At tip number 5, grab the materials around the map. These materials help a ton for the round after and can get you the upper hand on the opposing team. People don't think much about the eco in Apex Arena as it's not as hard hitting as important as the eco in Valorant, but it is still worth keeping an eye on. Using these maps to upgrade weapons, get more heals and or buy ultimate will allow you to almost win the opposing round every time if you spend these maps wisely. But it's not just worth going for one. The more you can get, the better. Grabbing all 3 will allow you to get more advantage, but there's no point risking your life for them. Grabbing 1 or 2 is enough. 3 is amazing but not always safe to go for. This also applies to the supply bins. These bins are very good, having a mass amount of heals within them for free, which otherwise would have cost you hundreds of creds, is an amazing opportunity, but half the time you'll end up using these meds just by getting beamed on your way. Tip number 4, we have sticking with your team. Sticking with your team is amazing. You're going to die less, and if you get downed, a res is 99% guaranteed. If you go alone in groups of 2 and a solo, the enemy team is able to pick you off one by one, and it's just going to be an easier win for them. The same goes for you. If you see that the enemy team is split off and separated, going for the solo and getting the early picks will allow you to win the round much easier. Sticking with your team allows for some great callouts, such as where people are and or if they are low. This does most of the time work better with a full pre-made squad, but it can work with randoms. Some randoms will go alone. In this case, it may be better for them to follow them, just to make sure that the round isn't thrown away. On to tip number 3, we have taking fights from range. Using weapons such as the bow and sentinel can be great, as a good way to play the game is to pick away the enemy's shield. Make them use up all their heals and then push. Staying at a distance keeps you safe and more aligned with your team. This applies to the past tip where sticking with your team with a strat like this, it may be better for 2 out of 3 people to buy and use long range weapons. As if someone pushes you, there is someone able to take the close range fight without having to pray for no scopes. Moving swiftly onto the penultimate tip, we have using your equipment wisely. Abilities in Apex Legends Arena cost money, and to be able to use these abilities more than a few times, it starts to get costly. If you start to spend money on abilities and waste them all in the first minute or 2, the last round was all a waste. You have to know when the perfect time is to use them. Some of the ways to be using the abilities would be Bangalore smoking materials and or supply bins, depending on how many she has. This allows the teammate to gather supplies for the team without the fear of dying. Another one would not to waste a lifeline drone on yourself and only use it when 2 or more people need it. Wasting it on yourself will not only actually waste the actual ability, but also money. Like I said at the beginning of the video where I talked about the Apex Eco, these are some of the things you have to be aware of in order to get an upper hand on your opponents. Making sure you also tell your teammate when or where you're using your ability, so they are aware that they can come to you, or to know how much that you have left. This is some of the knowledge that you have to know in order to get a win streak in Apex Arena. We made it to the final tip. The most important tip of them all is having a legend based job. By this, I mean it's best for an Octane to go for a supply bin or some materials than it is for a Gibby or a lifeline. Having legend based jobs makes your team more aligned and all on the same page. So like I said, having an Octane go for supply bin and on materials is a good example. Another example would be having a Bangalore to also go for these, as you'll be less vulnerable than, let's say, a Fuse. Having a lifeline as a healer would be better than a Valk. Having a Bloodhound would be better than a Pathfinder for intel, and the list goes on. Hopefully you guys understand what I mean. It's all about the character based jobs and not having mismatched team. Having all the team understand what their job is and what their contribution to the team is an amazing way to start winning more games. Thank you guys for watching today's Tip Tuesday. Today's comment shout out is on screen now, and make sure to leave a comment for a chance to win the next video. If you made it all the way to the end, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much for your support recently, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. In a bit.